morning, everybody. How we doing today? How we doing? Look at all these lovely faces. For those of you just joining today or haven't seen me speak in the past, my name is Jim Morris. Brock and I are good friends, and I've got something that I'm going to share with you today that is going to force you to make a commitment or not make a commitment. That's your choice today. But I'm going to share with you some things that whew, have changed my life, have changed the lives of people I've worked with, changed the lives of people I've coached, and I believe has changed the life of Brock Zivan. So, are you guys ready? On this lovely Wednesday, John Hart gives me the let's hang, baby. Let's go. D, how are you? Nice to see you. Amanda, Wendy, Jill, Cody, Paul, my man, Kastner, Devin, Karen, Latrice. We got a crew today. We got a crew for this lovely Wednesday. All right, my name is Jim Morris. I'm a consultant. I've owned a marketing company. I've owned a strategic coaching company. I've worked with 5 million, 10 million, $20 million brands, all the way down to a startup. So I've had a plethora of experience. And as I came into this call today, I was thinking of like, okay, well, how should I introduce myself? Should I do the typical, I've bought businesses, I've sold businesses, I've closed businesses, I'm a TEDx speaker. And as I was thinking that through, something hit me this morning at 4:30 a.m. None of that actually matters to you, right? What matters to you today is to make a commitment and to make a decision. So I'm going to talk about that commitment, and we're going to navigate this conversation together today. Also, one other thing to mention, I'm excited to see you all in Nashville next month. If you haven't bought your ticket, if you haven't discussed the 2026 Success Summit, I would advise you to get with Brock as soon as possible because he's doing some really, really cool things. Not only having the conference here in Nashville at Music City Work Club, but he is going above and beyond and connecting deeply with all of the folks who are signing up. One of the coolest things about Brock and this conference is he cares about you. Every single individual on this call he wants to see succeed. And he has pushed me to do some of the craziest things when it comes to this conference. And I'm not even going to share them with you because I want you to be in the room. I want you to feel the energy and I want you to feel that experience. I'll do a disservice if I give you the sneak peek today. But if you're interested about the summit, if you're interested about how you're going to grow, how you're going to kick off 2026, and you don't want to be average, this is the place to be. So check out the Nashville 2026 Success Summit. I hope to see you there. And we just locked in another speaker here in Nashville, Robert Hartline. Robert Hartline built a business to 100 million and then sold it and charges $100,000 a year to be coached by him. And he's going to bring the heat around magnetic selling and how he built that business. So we're just continuing to level up here and continuing to add amazing folks. And I'm just so fired up and so excited to meet you all in person and share some of those magnificent things that you're doing and how we can help you at the highest level. All right. I've got a question for everybody on the call today. But before I jump into this question, I want to center everybody. So if you're driving, of course, make sure that you keep your eyes on the road. But I'd like everybody to take their right hand. If you're on camera, show me your right hand. I want you to put it over your heart as if you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And I want you to close your eyes, not if you're driving, Brock, not if you're driving. I know you like to push the limit. I know you're always prepared. I seen you on the news the other day, by the way, Brock. But I want you to put your hand over your heart, and I want you to take 3 deep breaths. Okay, you can close your eyes, you can keep them open, and you do it with me. Ready? In, Hold out. Do that again. In, out. One more. In, out. You can open up your eyes now. The reason why I wanted you to do that is because I'm going to ask you a very important question that I want you to lean in with your heart. Don't want you to lean in with your head. And my question to you today, are you average? Write that down on a piece of paper. Are you average? And I want you to think through this. Take a second, and I want you to be very honest with yourself. Are you performing in your business at an average level? Are your sales average? Is your marketing average? Is your energy average? Are your systems in your business average? And let me just define average for you. And I'm going to pull it up so I read it exactly from the dictionary. Average is the number expressing a typical value in a set of data. A number expressing the typical value in a set of data. Folks, we're all a number. Whether we like it or not, we are a data set. You're a number in your community, you're a number in your industry, you're a number in your business. And the reason why I want to talk about average, I didn't have this discussion or this talk planned. I was at a conference last night at the amazing venue that we're having the Success Summit at, and a woman had grabbed the microphone and she had shared that a year ago I had a conversation with her and I asked her this one question and it changed her life. This simple question: are you average? Now, I don't want to see hands and I'm not going to call on anybody and, Brock, are you average? Tell me why you think you're average. Or are you not average? Right? That's not what I'm going to do. But the reason why I wanted you to put your hand over your heart is because I want you to really feel through this and get to a place where you're very honest with yourself. Right? We're in December. We're ending the year. Today's the 10th. We've got 21 days till 26 is over. And you hear a lot of talk, you hear a lot of conversation around separation season, right? Has anybody heard this, separation season? Right? I see a lot of head nods. Everybody's talking about how do you separate yourself? How do you do the hard things right now? How do you show up? How do you keep prospecting? How do you go to those networking events? How do you fit in the holiday schedule? How do you cook for your family? How do you host this year? Well, you got to work, you got to work, you got to work, you got to work. It's separation season. I couldn't agree more. But I want you to define what separation season is. I want you to write on that piece of paper, are you average? Are you performing at your highest level right now? And that woman last night that took the mic and said, Jim Morris, you changed my life a year ago. You asked me if I was average, and the fucking answer was yes, I am average. I was acting average. My prospecting was average. My systems was average. My marketing was average. My energy was average. My advertising was average. My relationships were average. My outreach was average. How I helped people was average. How I impacted others was average. How I showed up for my community was average. As you can see, you can probably hear it in my voice, that pisses me off. Okay? That upsets me. Because you're an individual with a passion who was put on this world and put on this planet for a reason to change lives. And if you're a real estate agent, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're on this call today, you will change lives. But the first thing you need to do is stop being average. And the first thing to stop being average is to admit that you are operating at an average level. And when you look yourself in the mirror, when you brush your teeth tomorrow, because I hope that you've already brushed your teeth today, if you're in your office, if you're driving, if you're going places, when you brush your teeth tomorrow, I want you to look yourself in the mirror for that 2 minutes, right? Dentists say 2 minutes, or at least I've been telling my 3.5-year-old, you better hit that 2 minute mark when you're scrubbing and dubbing those pearly whites. 2 minutes, you're going to brush your teeth, and I want you to stare into your own eyes, stare into your soul, and look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're not going to be average anymore. Average isn't the lack, and I want you to write this down. Average isn't the lack of ability. I'm going to say that again. Average is not the lack of ability. Average is not the lack of ability. Average is the lack of energy and intention. Average is the lack of energy and intention. Say it one more time for my folks that might be driving. Average is not the lack of ability. Average is the lack of energy and intention. And guess what, folks? When I'm coaching someone, when I'm working with someone one-on-one, and we have this conversation of average, one of the biggest things that have come up, and it may be in your mind right now, it may not be, it may come to you tomorrow during that 2 minutes of brushing those pearly whites. People always come to me, or they always say, you know what, I'm just being realistic. There's circumstances, there's issues, there's financial troubles, there's broken partnerships. Jim, I'm just being realistic. I'm not trying to be average, Jim. I'm not trying to be average. I promise. I don't want to be average, but I've got to be realistic here. Okay. I've got this barrier. I've got this blockage. I can't do a holiday party for my clients because I'm traveling for family. That's realistic, right? Well, I want you to write this down as well. And this broke me. This little nugget that I'm going to share with you broke me 3 years ago. Cracked me wide open. I'm talking about straight tears, like straight download from the creator above, cracked me open. Okay. And this came to me. I think I heard this I was doing some research on Carl Jung, and I think he says this. So I'm not going to attribute this to me, but he says being realistic is the fastest way to average. Being realistic is the fastest way to being average. You know what's not realistic? Taking the next 21 days, right? It's December 10th, taking the next 21 days and working on your business through the holidays, guys and gals, that's not realistic. You know what that is? That's separation season. You know what that is? The next 21 days, that's you making a commitment to not being average. Now, listen, I'm not here saying don't have Christmas dinner or, celebrate the holidays or celebrate the new year with your family and be on the phones and make 100 calls. That's not what I'm saying, okay? What I'm saying is if you're going to decide to have a holiday season that's realistic, what you're deciding is having a holiday season that's average. And it's not about counting hours. It's not about, working from sun up to sundown. It's about having the energy and the intention to not be average. When I was thinking about the Success Summit at 4:30 this morning, it's probably not an average thing to do at 4:30 in the morning. Wouldn't you guys agree? But I was thinking about the Success Summit, and I'm like, so many people have different definitions of success, and I love that, right? But when it comes to business, a business is only successful if it brings in revenue. And in order to have a business, you have to have revenue come into your company. And then I thought about a speaking engagement I had last week with a bunch of realtors. And every single person I talked to after my keynote, it's about 15 or 16 folks, we started to talk about success. And I started to ask people, what's business success, right? Because you've got your personal success, you've got your business success, it rolls up to your whole being. And everybody had mentioned revenue from business success, right? Like, I want to hit 40 million in sales this year. I want to hit 10 million. I want to help 50 clients. I want to change 30 people's lives. I want to help people create legacy by owning property. I want to work with investors. But it all came back to, all those things came back to bringing revenue into the business. And I asked these folks, I said, well, we got a month left. Remember, this was a week and a half ago or something. So we have a month left. What are you doing for the holidays? 16 conversations with 16 realtors. Not one of them talked about bringing in revenue for the holidays. Not one of them talked about prospecting for the next 30 days. Not one of them talked about reorganizing their business systems. Not one of them talked about how to build deeper relationships. Not one of them talked about success is contacting 25 people before 8 a.m. in the morning. Right? If you're in real estate, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're selling a product, whether it's digital, in real life, tangible or not tangible, you need people in your life. You need relationships in your life. And my question to them was, I've talked to 25 people by 8 a.m. every single day, and I'm going to do it for the next 21 days. And my business is going to continue to prosper through January, through February, and through March. Because business success is bringing in revenue. And when I told them that, I said, does that sound average to you? And everybody said no. No. Reaching out to 25 people before 8 a.m. is not an average task. It's not an average strategy. It's me being intentional, and it's me bringing a ton of energy to start those conversations. Because as you know, when you text someone, they may not respond right away. When you drop a voicemail, they may not call you back right away. So if I get 25 conversations outbound by 8 a.m., now I have potentially 25 people who I'm going to engage with the rest of the day. I've got potentially 10 or 15 who are going to respond from my reach outs yesterday. I've got 5 that are going to respond from my reach outs 2 days ago. And 3 days ago, maybe I'll have 1 or 2 that respond to me. Now I'm having 35, 40 conversations a day, all because I decided to not be average and do something that is going to propel my business success, that's going to bring in revenue. Because relationships are revenue, folks. If you haven't heard that, I would write that down too. Relationships are rocket ships. You want to blast off in 2026? You want to become the Elon Musk or the Bezos or Lady Gaga who's gone to space? You want to blast off on that rocket ship? Well, I don't know. I heard a conspiracy actually last week about Lady Gaga saying that she never went to the moon. So who knows where the truth's at? But if you want to blast off, if you want success in your business, if you want to prepare for 2026, the rocket ship, in order to do that, is building relationships. And think about what's going to happen if you reach out to 25 people before 8 a.m. every single day. And you know what's funny? Remember when I was talking about being realistic is the fastest way to average? I can guarantee you, some of you, if not all of you, are going, how the hell am I going to reach out to 25 people every day? Guess what you're doing? You're being realistic. Guess what that realistic behavior is doing? It's causing you to be average. So, this is my challenge and to you today. And then I'm going to let Brock jump on, and I know he might have some questions or some things to say, but my challenge to you today, if you're going to be average, write down on that piece of paper, I'm going to be average. If you're going to commit to not being average, write down on that piece of paper, I am not average. And when you brush your teeth tomorrow, I want you to think about what it takes to not be average. I want you to think about the tactical things that are going to allow you to separate in this season. And talking about tactical things, as I always tell Brock, I want to give you a specific tactical strategy in order to do this every time I talk to this group, because I've met so many of you and you're absolutely amazing and you take action. I spoke to a group 3 times last month and no one was taking action, and I canceled my contract for this month. I told Brock, can I get on the show twice a month, 3 times a month? Everybody takes action here. They do the thing. I love it. So my tactical advice to you is, when you wake up in the morning and you put your hand over your heart, I want you to think about 25 people that come to mind. And it's not going to come quick. You got to sit with yourself in some silence here. Okay? Hand over your heart, so you sink into your heart and you think about that. All right, who's coming to my mind right now? Who in my life is on my heart? All right, I'm thinking about Will Sachs right now. I'm thinking about Jeremy Cantu, who's a friend of mine. Thinking about Olga, who told me I changed her life last night. I'm thinking about Pete Johnson, who wants to buy a $7 million house, but is scared shitless to invest that money. I'm thinking about my good friend, David, who just lost his mom, right? And as I'm thinking about these people, I'm writing them down. And this can take 15 minutes just to get to these 25 people. But once I write that down, I go right into sending a text message. And this is the text message that I send every single morning to 25 people. Hey, Jeremy, I woke up this morning and you were on my heart. As you know, I'm not your average real estate agent, so I wanted to reach out immediately. How are things? It's that simple. Start to engage in a conversation and start to take action and reach out to people who fall on your heart. And it's true. This isn't a slimy sales tactic. This isn't a BS thing where you're telling people they're on your heart and you're just trying to move up a prospect that's at a D level to an A level to buy that $7 million house, or to buy your highest package if you sell, digital services or in person. It's not what we're doing. We're just being real, not realistic. We're being real, not realistic. I'm going to say that text message again because I want you to use this exact text message, because it's so easy to send. And when you tell someone that they're on your heart and you're not lying, and that's the truth, they're going to respond to you. They're going to say something back. In some cases, I promise you, I've had more people tell me, I needed to hear that today, that you were thinking about me because I'm having a bad morning. And remember, folks, I'm sending these messages before 8 a.m. right? We've all had bad mornings. We've all, gotten not enough sleep. We've all had kids wake us up, or people are sick, or family members struggling, or whatever those reasons are. If you can not be average, your relationships won't be average. So let me say that text message one last time, and then I'll pass it to Brock to wrap us up or ask any questions. I woke up this morning and you were on my heart. I woke up this morning and you were on my heart. As you know, I'm not your average realtor, or if you're in a different industry, not your average coach, not your average consultant, I'm not your average social media management, not your average whatever. So, as you know, I'm not your average realtor. So, I wanted to reach out immediately. As you know, I'm not your average realtor. So, I wanted to reach out immediately. And you asked the open ended question: how are things? I woke up this morning and you're on my heart. As you know, I'm not your average realtor. So, I wanted to reach out immediately. How are things? Can I see a show of hands of people who are making a commitment as of right now to not be average? Let's go. Let's go. Come on. I love it. Everybody's hands up. Let's go. All right, Brock. Anything you want to wrap up? Anything I might have missed? Anything you want to share?
Morning, brother. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody on here on this beautiful, beautiful, was it Wednesday? Losing track of the days. I want you guys, the word that I wrote down here, because once I got back to my office here, I was able to write some notes down. I like to write notes. If you didn't write down this word, I want you to embrace this word, realistic. Realistic. Okay. And then I want you to imagine your child, a loved one, somebody that you know has more potential than they even can see. And they say to you, because I was thinking I could like see my daughter Brielle say, Dad, I'm just being realistic. Dad, I'm just being realistic. I mean, the other players, I'm in the eighth grade. Some of them are a year older than me, Dad. I'm never going to run as fast as them. This was a conversation also. Like this is how I was putting it into play. Would we accept it? Would we be like, you know what? Could you imagine being a little bird on a little bug on the wall there, being like me saying, you know what, Brielle, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about those girls who are a little bit older than you, and they probably do run faster than you, and they probably have more skills than you, and just probably just completely better athletes. You know what? You just take it easy. Yeah, let's just be realistic. Like you just settle into your spot. You'll find your place eventually, and just keep going, girl. Like, imagine if you said that. Now think about it. If when you say you're being realistic, that's what you're telling yourself. That's the word. If you take anything on what Jim said, I hear it many times. I'm just being realistic. You know how many times my mom tells me I'm burning the candle on both ends, that I need to take it easy? I'm pushing myself. It's you're way too hard. Like literally this week, all Brock, I see your post and I see what you're doing, but I know Brielle's sick and you're gonna get sick too. You need to take it easy. Like that's what I hear. You need to take it easy, Brock. And you know what? I don't say this to my mom, but I want to be like, Mom, thanks effing so much because now I'm gonna work even harder. Now I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna stay up a little bit later. I'm gonna get up a little bit earlier, and I'm gonna do all those things. So when I continue to do it, I'm like, you know what? I'm pushing the needle. My cousin Rob's on here. I always say average people will sleep in. Average people won't get up. Average people will go to bed early. Average people won't make that call. Average people won't do the workout. Average people won't go for the run. Average people won't do the video. Average people won't make that extra dial, that extra call, doing that extra thing. That's what average people don't do. And so you write down the word average and you write down the word realistic. Put it on a yellow piece of paper. You put it on top of your computer today. And you ask yourself, how am I doing? Jim, close us out. Send us home, brother. Great message today. I appreciate you.
Of course, man. The
I'll
last
see you
thing
tomorrow. I'm excited
I'll
to
see
see
you
you tomorrow in
tomorrow.
Nashville.
Yeah.
As they used to say in that TV show, wheels up in 30, wheels up in 24 hours over here. Wheels up.
I get to pick up some handsome guys from the airport tomorrow. Talk about not being average, hanging out with Brock. One thing I just want to leave everybody with is there's this word that comes up when I have these conversations around average, and and realistic, and it's the same meaning but a different word. So when I'm talking or I'm coaching someone directly one on one, they don't actually say, I'm just being realistic. They use this undercover code word that means the same thing. And it's, I'm just being honest, Jim. I'm just being honest. No, you're being realistic. It's the same exact thing. So when you tell yourself, oh, I'm just being honest, I can't reach out to 25 people before 8 a.m., I'm just being honest. You're actually saying I'm just being realistic, which in turn, you're actually saying I'm just being average. So I'll leave you with this. I saw everybody's hand up that made a commitment today that they're not going to be average. I want to hear from you in the next week. I want you to email me. I want you to text me. And I want to hear about the struggles that you're facing when you're faced with being average, when you're faced with being realistic. And I want to walk you through those, and I want to guide you, and I want to help you. So that's an open invitation. I don't typically do that. Brock knows I've done that before on a big stage and and had a lot of people reaching out and learn my lesson. But this group, these folks here today that have made that commitment, I want to guide you through that. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna come to a point where you just feel like you can't accomplish it, and you're gonna go back to this behavior of being realistic. It's going to happen. What I'm asking you to do is not average. What I'm asking you to do is make a massive change to your business to build the relationships so you can enhance the level of impact that you have on the world, that you have on families, that you have on investors, that you have on anybody that's purchasing or coming through your business. It's going to be difficult. You're going to fall back into realistic. You're going to fall back into, well, I'm just being honest. You're going to fall back into average. Reach out to me, text me, email me. Let's talk about these things. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I cannot wait to see you all in Nashville, Tennessee in January. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Joseph. Have a wonderful Wednesday, brother.
You too. Stay blessed.